Alright, let's see. I gotta switch something out. Okay, and we're on. First off, I'm gonna say my apologies. I know, like, this room is not very well lit or anything like that, so my... And, by the way, South Warren 313, we don't need the diamond emojis up in this bitch. We do dragon emojis, and that's my emoji. CPN's emoji is the diamond emoji. Just letting you know. Gonna be playing a little bit of a shadow run, and if you haven't taken a look into the description, we're gonna be talking about a slew of things. You know, as of last night, with Psychopathics, the Juggalo show on Psychopathic TV, they ended up making mentionings about the gathering this year, as well as the DCG Con that's going to be coming up in May. And shout out actually goes out to Keegan the Creep Ass, because he ended up mentioning the fact that he ended up talking to the dude who's doing the Nintendo tournament, the NES tournament, and yes, I am the one that's going to be doing the Nintendo tournament. So it's actually very exciting to know that Keegan the Creep Ass is excited about this shit as well as I am. Because Keegan's also doing a fucking live stream as well. No, my mistake. Brain fart. It's been a long fucking week. And, you know, he's going to be doing a tournament as well with a Nintendo Switch. As well as Carnival Spirits is going to be doing a Backyard Wrestling, the video game tournament, with KG Kevin Gill. So shouts out going out to Carnival Spirits for that flavor and freshness. But me, on the other hand, I'm gonna be doing like an old school Nintendo tournament. But before I continue along, I do want to go ahead and get the shilling out of the way. Super Chat is available. I don't have fucking Streamlabs or anything as of right now. Nothing on Streamlabs is activated, but I also do have a Patreon if you would like to become a patron. It's just as easy as $1 a month. $1 a month gets you in as a patron, as well as t-shirt availability. As of right now, I have about 5 t-shirts. Right now I'm selling the NES Man t-shirt, Diapergate Victim t-shirt. I'm a KreyzMcKormik guy t-shirt, which is a playoff of, let's see, the I'm a Paul Heyman guy t-shirt. So it looks like this, except instead of Paul Heyman, it says KreyzMcKormik. And I also have a Dabbin' Haters t-shirt, which it looks like a bingo card, and it shows 24 names of people that I have actually beefed with over the last 10 years. This one took a lot of thought into it. I had to backtrack like the last 10 years about everybody that I fucking had beef with. Going from the start, from the Tulsa Anti-Juggalo League up to now with King Crimson. And you'll probably see some famous, not so famous names from the past. If you've been watching me for, you know, my tenure here on YouTube, you'll see names like the Brown Madman, Hobart Zaranko, Cleary, Wrestling Jesus. I'm about ready to make an update and put Child's Play Ninja up on there because Greedo shot first. And shout out goes out to Ridas187 for that $5 super chat saying, "What up, crazy? Much love." Much love goes out to you too, man, and thank you for that $5. That money is actually probably going to go into gas when I'm on my way over to fucking DCG Con. And that's pretty much all the shilling that I have going on with this type of shit. So while I'm talking, I'm gonna try to play some Shadowrun. I've been getting back into this game and shit. Let's see, what is it that's being said here? Let's see. I'd really like to do a Hatchetman variation for you of a gamer running with a plug of an NES to plug it in or something. Yeah, Ninja with a Pencil, go ahead and fucking do that. I do remember that you ended up mentioning something like that somewhere on Facebook. But yeah, do it up, man, and then send it to me because I'm actually interested in seeing something like that. So let's go ahead and get into this shindig. First off, before I get ahead of myself with everything going on, I wanted to actually give a shout out to a show that I'm going to be on in about an hour. He's going to give me a call about 6 o'clock. The show is a Facebook show called Juggalo Knuckles. Basically, it's the Juggalo version of Ugandan Knuckles. And he ended up getting a hold of me the other day. He asked me if I would mind being on the show, so that way we together can show people the way. So I of course ended up calling him, and he ended up marking out like a motherfucker because I don't know. I guess you know, and to be totally honest, like I had been thinking about this type of shit for a long time, and I've been thinking to myself that there's a possibility that people like myself and Child's Play Ninja, Mr. McInhose, and everybody at Carnival Spirits, and a lot of other YouTubers that are actually getting a name out for themselves, like, are we considered celebrity status at some point? Like, because I certainly don't feel like it, but I don't know. It's up to y'all. Y'all are the motherfuckers that watch us and support us. So, you know, I guess shoot out dragon emojis for that. You know, if you think that people like us are at the point of celebrity status, you know, throw in a dragon emoji. Now, I ended up accepting this dude's proposal to, you know, to go there and be on his show and stuff. Like, he seems like a cool dude. So I figured, you know, just go on the show, have some fun. I'd like to see what it's about. I do not want to do this type of shit. But I'm talking about Shadowrun. Like, I'm at a Johnson and trying to fucking get paid here. So there's that. You know, I gotta... Shut up, Captain Flannel. Like, no, he says, not celebrities, just guys with very big heads. For some of us, that's a possibility. But in all honesty, like, I don't know if I would actually consider myself of that level, you know, that kind of caliber. But at the same time, we do have people that are watching us. So that's really fucking cool. Now, this is another thing too. This isn't like, there's some people that I'm reading up here, and some person said that I clearly have autism. Which, obviously, that's a fucking hater. And I would honestly think that if you got haters, especially if you're looking at my channel and my fucking people that comment on my live streams and shit. Okay, yeah, I can see that. But I would think, you know, like, we got haters. And, you know, like, what's a celebrity without haters? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and I agree to you. I agree with that, CPN. Like, we are well-known people, but we wouldn't be considered celebrity status. I mean, you know, but, you know, it is what it is. So before we get into, let's see. Yeah, I'm kind of strapped on time and everything, you know, because of everything that I've got going on with Juggalo Knuckles. But I'm pretty much just going to be trying to roll through this real quick. But the next thing is that I wanted to talk about is the entrance for the WWE Hall of Fame. You know, y'all know that I'm a big wrestling fan. So, like, right around this time, WrestleMania's, you know, the road to WrestleMania is upon us at this point. So every year after the Royal Rumble for the next, you know, for like every week, they end up putting somebody new. That's going to be in the WWE Hall of Fame. And this year so far that I have seen has been Goldberg, the Dudley Boys, Ivory, and now Jeff Jarrett. And I'm actually pretty surprised at the fact that they are throwing Jeff Jarrett into the WWE Hall of Fame. But I am actually rather upset the fact that they're throwing Ivory into the WWE Hall of Fame. Don't get me wrong, I think that Ivory deserves it, but there is one diva. They always throw in one diva into the WWE Hall of Fame every year. I mean, like, what was it? So far, it's been Beth Phoenix, Beth Phoenix has been inducted. Fucking Moolah and Mae Young obviously have been inducted a while ago. You know, Lita and Trish Stratus, and they all got their fair due and everything. But it just feels to me like they are purposefully not putting China into the WWE Hall of Fame, and it's starting to get to me. It's like, you know, they're starting to actually mention China more and more, which honestly gave me the thought and possibility, thinking that they were going to induct her this year, but instead they gave us Ivory. I don't know. It kind of bothers the piss out of me. And with the working conditions that they got with Goldberg to give him one last run, I thought that it was pretty cool that they were able to give Goldberg a spot. And the Dudley Boys should have been inducted a long time ago. Those motherfuckers are a fucking tag team dynasty. Sure, I think they said that between WWE and ECW, they've been tag team champions like what? 11 times, 12 times, 13 times? I can't remember. What I do remember though is the fact that if you also include TNA as well as the IWGP tag team titles, they've held the titles 23 times. They are 23-time tag team champions as both the Dudley Boys and Team 3D. Yes, Shawnzy, that's exactly why. Triple H actually said that one time on the Stone Cold podcast. As much as they would, you know, he keeps on saying, as much as they would love to induct China now, and this was like a year or two ago that he said this, as much as they would love to induct China into the WWE Hall of Fame, what they're afraid of is that if a kid ends up doing a Google search for Joni Laurer, then you know, the first thing that that's gonna pop up might be one of three things: A Night in China, the Avengers porn parody, or the She-Hulk porn parody. And yeah, exactly. Like, there have been a slew of, you know, there's been quite a few women that have been inducted or have been considered legendary status or keep coming back that have been in Playboy. I mean, like, why is it that they're, you know, that they're willing? They're absolutely willing to, you know, I mean, like, what was it? Like, Sable was in Playboy and she's inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. Candice Michelle was in Cinemax Softcore Porn, and yet she was able to get a WWE World title. Or not, women's title, I mean. My mistake. And, you know, like, I don't know what the hell is up with that, but honestly, they need, like, I honestly think that China deserves a spot into the WWE Hall of Fame. And unfortunately, though, because of the way things have been, you know, with China and her past history with, you know, drug abuse and all of that, you know, unfortunately, it has to be posthumous. No, posthumous or whatever. And then, you know, and Jeff Jarrett, I thought it was hilarious, the fact that Jeff Jarrett has been inducted, you know, the rumors and all that other stuff. You know, the rumors ended up becoming true. The fact that Jeff Jarrett was inducted, or is going to be inducted, the Friday before WrestleMania. It's hilarious to me because they're now inducting the guy who considerably had a, you know, created a rival for WWE after WCW ended up going under. So I guess, you know, that was pretty cool. Funny, but cool. I'm not saying that, Dark Knight Ninja. Come on. I'm pretty well aware of that type of shit. But in the celebrity wing, I think that Rude Boy has been trying to vie for Insane Clown Posse to be inducted into the celebrity wing. Because they actually had, you know, they ended up being a part of the Big Three. and include, you know, and then you can also include TNA into that. So I guess that would be considerably the big four. So, you know, and on top of that, like, they did a lot more in the ring than, you know, even in WCW. You know, then they did a lot more in the ring in WCW than, say, I don't know, the Misfits and Master P when they ended up doing that shit, because they ended up having that Rough Riders storyline where Master P was a part of the, you know, was a part of like the Filthy Animals or some shit. At least fucking Shaggy Two Dope was willing to take a bump on a bus, you know, with an Awesome Bomb on top of a fucking bus. But honestly, I think that that would be fresh as fuck. I mean, granted, they ended up leaving the WWE on pretty negative terms. But it seems like Rude Boy is definitely trying to do his best in order to get ICP into the fucking Hall of Fame. And that would be the shit. You think that? No, there was, like, if you guys remember my roommate Vinny, he actually speculated that Vince McMahon already owns TNA. Like, he's the one that was basically the financial backer behind TNA. And I could see that. I mean, Vince McMahon's got fucking millions. There we go. Alright, I think I'm good. I've killed enough ghouls in this area. I still want TNA versus WWE since John Cena wants to quit WWE and have him pull a Hulk Hogan and let John Cena join TNA's side. And yes, I said Cena's name like Santino Marella. Right? So, yeah. I mean, that so far is what's going on with the WWE's Hall of Fame. And I'm actually looking forward to seeing that shit. I'm also actually interested in seeing the, you know, I'm also interested in seeing the Elimination Chamber because I want to see how much fuckery that's going to be. But, you know, that'll be another story later. So, moving along, the last night, I was playing Echo Side with my girlfriend, her cousin, and one of our homies, and ended up coming across Psychopathic TV while, you know, because I had ended up hearing rumor that they were planning to announce the location for the gathering of the Juggalos for this year. Now, CPN ended up doing a live stream as they were doing that shit, which props go out to UCPN for doing the whole green screen thing with that shit. Like, that was dope as fuck watching it like that. Die, motherfucker. Oh, come on. But according to what was said on the Juggalo show last night, it has been confirmed that the gathering of the Juggalos this year is going to be taking place at Legend Valley again. Now, I honestly have to say that I have never been to a gathering at Legend Valley. But I can say that I went to a gathering at Cave and Rock, at Hog Rock. And according to what CPN said, fuck that hill. Like, there is a worse fuck that hill at Legend Valley than there is at Hog Rock. Mm-hmm. Now, personally, I like the fact that they are going to be putting it down there. So, I don't know. I don't know if I will say this though, because I said this on CPN's show. I'm not sure if I would actually be able to make the gathering. As much as I would love to, I don't think I'll be able to make it, which kind of sucks. The fact that I'm, like, I haven't been to a gathering in 6 years. Like, the last gathering I went to was the one in 2012. Wasn't really it was a good and bad experience all at the same time, which, strangely enough, is just like it is with every fucking gathering. Like, when I'm at the gathering, it is the most epic fucking event ever. But then after I've calmed down and I've put some thought process into it, it's like, Jesus, why did I do this, that, and the other? In this case, in every case, it's always been, why did I go to the gathering with this bitch? Oh shit, you guys are gonna get snaps drunk on moonshine? That's gonna be dope. Now, when it concerns the gathering, I would love to go. Unfortunately, though, the reason why I say that I have a high chance that I won't be making it to the gathering is because of the fact that, like, my finances aren't necessarily in order. I owe a lot of money to a lot of things, which I shouldn't really be admitting out publicly, but I've probably told enough people that it's probably out there. So nevertheless, I'm going to explain it. I owe on my car, I owe on my bank, and a bunch of other stuff. Now, I'm not necessarily saying this as an attempt to e-beg or anything like that. I don't do that shit. Y'all know that. And believe me, I'm the type of person to try to just fucking work things out. Usually things do work out in the end for me, so that's a positive. But, right now, at the same time, as I'm trying to work that shit off, I'm also in the process of a new job. I'm temping right now with another job until I can get things back in order. So, with that being said, like, there is a high chance that I would not be able to go. It's already set in stone that I'm going to be going to DCG Con in May. Whoa. I don't know what the fuck just happened. Much better. Like I said, it's already set in stone that I'm going to be going to DCG Con. That's a given. And when it concerns this job that I'm doing right now, even if I do get hired in, I'm going to tell them I don't care if you pay me or not for the days that I've missed, but I already have it locked in that I'm going to be going to Denver, Colorado on those specific dates. From the 10th to the 14th is when I'm not going to be working. So, call it sick time or whatever, do what you got to do, but I'm not going to be there. And I'll tell them that even when they decide to fucking hire me. And besides, when it concerns that job, I'm starting to think, after having a previous experience through temp agencies and stuff like that, there's a lot of shit that I've actually learned about temp agencies and how that shit works out. Turns out that, if you're getting paid, like I'm getting paid $10.50 an hour for the job that I'm doing right now through the temp agency. But I can guarantee you that they're probably paying like $27 an hour to the temp agency in order for them to pay me, because the temp agency gives me like dick for medical insurance, but it gives me medical insurance nonetheless. But as a temp, the company actually has to pay for that, and then and a bunch of other stuff for like other fees and stuff like that for the staffing company giving me to them and all this other shit. And then when they hire people, then that's when they save money, which I don't understand why it has to be 90 days, but that's probably a different story. What are you trying to fucking say? Yeah, takes dick for medical insurance. No, my medical insurance is worth dick at this point. But, you know, depending on who you are and how much you like dick, I guess, depends on how, you know, how good my medical insurance is in your head. But nevertheless, when it concerns all of that shit, like, the fucking company pays me, pays them, and pays for my medical insurance while I'm a temp. And then when you get hired in, they cut deep into how much money that they're willing to give you. Now, with my prior experience and all this other shit with my last job and everything, I'm actually going to plan on telling them that I'm not accepting anything less than $14 an hour. Even though right now I'm getting paid $10.50 an hour. Usually when you get hired in from being a temp to hired, they only give you like $1 more. And that dollar ends up fucking going in, that $1 an hour tends to go into your fucking health insurance, life insurance, and your fucking dental insurance as well. So, like, really, they're not giving you anything any different. You know what I'm saying? And then they only give you a raise based off of the cost of living every year. That's my experience that I've had with them. And not to mention with my level of expertise in the factory field and everything like that. You know, like when I quit my last job, I was getting paid $12.20. And I'm not accepting anything less than $14 an hour. And I have to say that the fact that I have them by the balls is legit when it concerns that, because if you think about it, okay? If you think about it, they already waste 3 months on me, and if they don't comply with what I'm looking at, with what I want, then I can either just continue to remain a temp there where they're still having to pay $27 to $30 an hour for my ass to be there. Or they could just say no, and then I lose my assignment, go to something else, and then they got to wait another 3 months for somebody else to get hired in. So they'd be losing productivity like a motherfucker for another 3 months. Or they could just say, fuck it, and just give me $14 an hour, and then I pay my own insurance, and I still get a little bit of extra money on the side. On top of the $10.50 an hour that I already that I already pay. So I'm already going to be getting like another $1.50 per hour after my insurance. But nevertheless, you know, because of all of that, you know, right now, I'm only a month in, about a month in, doing this job. I now feel bad for being excited about a possible raise. No, dude, if you're hired in, CPN, you know, whatever job that you're at, you're hired in. So, you know, like that's something that you earn, that's something that you deserve. But it's just, to me, half the time temp agencies really don't make sense as to how things work. Like, one of the first jobs that I had as a temp, I ended up having to work at this place, and it was basically a welding factory. They would weld parts together. They were welding racks that would go to places like Target, Walmart, Meijer, whatever fucking place that needed racks to hold up money, or, you know, to hold up stuff so that way they could sell shit and then get money because of that. But like, they would weld the parts, and I had to like put them on a skid, and then the skid would be sent over to a paint section, you know, and all that other shit. And I worked all of it except for the welding, like welding by hand. I used welding machines, but that's it. And there were tons of fucking temps there. Like, almost everybody that was working there was a fucking temp. And I worked that job for a month and a half, and then they laid off everybody. Except for like 2 temps. And it turned out that what it was is that they were behind on productivity, so they hired enough people to fill that entire fucking factory, and then laid everybody off once they caught up on their quota. And I looked at that, I was just like, what the fuck is the point in that? Like, they were spending like probably $25 an hour per person When instead, if they just hired people that were more than willing to take the job, then they would have saved at least 50% of that. You know, and then on top of that, they don't have to pay the person's insurance. And, you know, the worker would pay for their own goddamn insurance. Like, that just made no sense to me. It still doesn't to this day. And that was like 10 years ago. But like I was saying, by the time I get hired into that place, I'll already have had said that DCG Con was a thing. They definitely would not make it so I could have the gathering for free. You know, to just take the time off from the gathering, you know, to go to the gathering and be able to do all of that shit. DCG Con, yes. The gathering of the Juggalos, no. And that also raises a lot of heavy suspicion when it concerns Wheatland that I go to every year up north in Remus, Michigan. Let me see what you guys are saying. We shall spam him with M&E as a gang. Crazy 1v1 CPN and Don CPN and Don. Dude, what the fuck? So, you know, there's all of that. You know, so like I said, as much as I would love to go to the Gathering of the Juggalos this year, it's just not feasible. Even if I did end up getting the time off, chances are that I still wouldn't be able to go because of finances, unfortunately. What up, Skinny G, and what up, Big Ninja? Yeah, my apologies. I've kind of been abandoning the chat, interacting with y'all. But the time will come for that. Trust me when I say. Now, the next thing is DCG Con that I wanted to fucking make mention of. The fact that on the Juggalo show, they ended up mentioning all of the things that are going to be going on, or at least a good portion of the things that are going to be going on this year at DCG Con. And one of the things that they ended up pointing out was the fact that they had Keegan the Creepass on the show, and they ended up talking about the shit that Keegan's going to be doing. Keegan's going to be doing that Mario Kart fucking tournament, and I'm just like, fuck. Like, you know, who doesn't play Mario Kart? If you had a Nintendo since Super Nintendo came out, you've played Mario Kart at least once. And it doesn't fucking matter to me which version it is. I really don't care. Sorry about this. I'm turning this off for a purpose. Now, the next thing that they ended up, you know, so like, well, let me try not to get ahead of myself. Well, yeah, dude, Sister Hatchet, like, they had to have at least had a Nintendo 64 at the nunnery. Like, something, come on. Then, you know, if that's the case, Sister Hatchet, and you've never played it, then fuck. You need to play it. Like, there needs to be a time where you fucking at least played it. Like, this should be your bucket list thing, Sister Hatchet. So, you know, and when it concerns Keegan the Creepass doing his fucking thing, I'm probably going to be spending a whole lot of time in the video game tent. For two reasons. One, you know, they got a lot of fucking cool ass events going on there, and two, my girlfriend has been practicing Into the Echo Side, and the tent and you know, and the game area for the Echo Side tournament is right next to the fucking video game tent. So there's that, and that brings up the next thing, because Carnival Spirits is also going to be doing their backyard wrestling tournament, and they got KG Kevin Gill, you know, going along the ride with that, which I thought was fresh as fuck. Kudos to you guys for being able to do that, because what better way to have that tournament than to have it co-hosted by the creator of the fucking game? And even I think even he had said that he hadn't played the game in a while, but still, it's fucking cool that that's going down. And I have not played, I haven't played the fucking game in quite a long time. What up, Big Bad Wolf, and what up, KreyzMcKormik? They need a Whack-A Twizzler game, right? So, you know, I haven't played Backyard Wrestling 1 or 2 in a minute. So, I honestly, I'm thinking possibly I might want to check that out just cuz. But the next thing that ends up being played on there, which, you know, they didn't really give me like a whole big, you know, shabah about it, like Jump Steady didn't on the Juggalo show. But one thing that I thought was cool, though, was the fact that not only did they mention the NES tournament that I'm going to be hosting. I mean, they didn't say KreyzMcKormik from YouTube is hosting the NES, you know, the Juggalo NES Grandmaster tournament or anything like that. But I didn't need that, you know. Like, all I really wanted was just for them to make mention of the NES tournament, to play old school NES. And and the cool thing was, Keegan ends up saying, I talked to that dude who's going to be hosting that NES tournament. That motherfucker is legit. And I'm just like, whoa! Yes, because I did. You know, I had talked to him on Facebook, and I was just, you know, he and I kind of bonded over the fact that he had that Nintendo Entertainment System box set hanging up when, you know, like, I talked to him like right after he was on live with CPN. And he and I kind of bonded over that, you know, over old school NES games. We didn't talk very long, but I was like, dude, like, I am fucking envious of you for having that motherfucker. And as a collector, like, you've seen, you know what? Come here, motherfucker. Here, I'm gonna fucking show you guys something. Okay, so, like, I'm just gonna give you a quick whoop. This right here is my collection. Okay, and this is about 23 games. So there's my NES games. There's my, like, if you look, the white cartridges, those are Famicom games. I got Game Boy games, Game Boy Advance games, a bunch of Sega games. There's one missing, but that's because it was in the Retron. And then I got 4 Super Nintendo games, and this one right here is a Super Famicom game. Which one it is exactly? The Slayers, which I love the cartoon. I just need to get a fucking thing for that. And you see that now. I'm going to show you this, okay? Like, these are all my NES games, right? The ones that are flipped up that you can't see are the ones that are going to be in the tournament. And if you can see right here, I have a double copy. I have 2 copies of Super Mario Brothers. Here, let me allow me to move this. So I have 2 copies of Super Mario Brothers. And that copy on the left has 5 screws in the back. The one on the right has 3 screws in the back. So, like, that is very special to me. And I plan on, you know, because as a collector, like, that's what I'm actually looking forward to seeing. Is getting more games similar to that type of shit. Thank you. Thank you, Big Ninja. I mean, it's a small collection, but it's, you know, it's kind of palatable. Now, now the one thing that I was going to make mention of, since we started talking about, okay, it keeps on, the camera keeps on getting fucking fuzzy. Now, I wanted to point something out to you. Oh yeah, sister, we're like twinsies. You're like, you collect games, like, I collect games, you collect dead shit. We're twinsies, man. So, now this is what I was going to make mention of when it concerns my tournament. I as of right now, I have not had the intention on getting any of the old school NES systems. I mean, obviously you have the games. So I'm giving you guys a little bit, I'm giving you guys some spoilers. Like, you know, like, you've seen my collection. You might have a guess of what possible games I'm putting into the tournament. Now, one of the things that I will say is that as of right now, I'm leaning against using the old school NES systems because of the fact that the front-loading system does have the possibility of getting the blue screen of death, and that can cause problems, especially when you're doing especially with this tournament. I don't want somebody to play the game and then all of a sudden have to deal with a glitch gremlin. And I don't want it to be the fucking, you know, an issue where just all of a sudden turns into blue screen of death. So, so what is it exactly that I'm using when it concerns this? Some people suggested, Child's Play Ninja, that I try to use something called Raspberry Pi, and I'm not using that. Instead, we're using the Retron 5. Now, I'm saying that we're using the Retron 5 for a specific reason. And, by the way, the game that I had in there, I was playing Shadowrun for the Sega Genesis. Fucking love that game. So, now here's the thing. This motherfucker is powerful as fuck. It's a clone system, yes, but, like, this is what we're going to be using in order to play the games. The only downside to this thing, though, is that it doesn't give you the ability to use the NES 4-score or the NES Satellite, which allows 4-player compatibility. The reason why is because the controller ports are on the side, and I want to use authentic controllers because the controllers for this thing fucking blows. I don't like it, it's not ergonomic, and I don't think that anybody else is going to enjoy using those either. So, instead, I ended up buying some old school NES controllers. And because they only allow 2, we're just going to have to deal with using Super Nintendo controllers for players 3 and 4. It's just how it has to be. Now, on top of that, if you look in the back here, I have an SD card popped into the back. This thing is holding all of my game saves as well as hacks. So you never know if there might be a possibility if we can use this system and at some point in the tournament, you might not be playing the original version of the game. You might actually just be playing a hack. Think about that. The game that you think you are going to dominate at ends up being a fucking hacked version of the game. And believe me when I say that, there are quite a few of the games that I have that do have hacks that could fuck everything up for even the most experienced of old school gamers. As an example, like I ended up seeing about maybe 125 different hacks for Super Mario World alone. And even as simplistic as these hacks are, it's like, you know, I've played Super Mario World up and down, left and right, BA start, and I can't play these fucking hacks like, you know, like I can the original Super Mario World. And the reason why that is because, hold on a second. The reason why I play that, the reason why I have a problem with that is mainly because I know the rhythm of the original game. I don't know the rhythm of the hack. And that becomes problematic. So, the way that it is that, okay, this is kind of the spoiler alert that I'm sure that anybody who watches that is actually interested in this tournament that I'm doing. Because I ended up saying fresh prizes, but I left it very vague. So, you know what? I'm gonna leave it up to y'all. What up, Hunter Valentine? It's been a minute. I'm gonna leave it up to y'all. Throw down dragon emojis if you want to know what the fucking prize is. I want to see dragon emojis just rain on this motherfucker if you want to know what the prize is going to be for the tournament. Okay, so I see that Big Bad Wolf has thrown up some diamond emojis. Oh, shit, we got Conquer the Squirrel up in here. Because I don't want to know. I don't want to know what I'm not gonna win. Oh, well, that's unfortunate, Big Bad Wolf, man. Maybe next year. Next year might I'm honestly going to say that I want to keep tabs with Jump Steady to fucking to see if if this is a popular thing, if maybe I can do another one next year, because I've got ideas for next year's DCG Con and I'll have more time to prepare rather than this last minute shit. Now what? Okay, so I'd seen 3 people fucking throw dragon emojis on here. 3 people out of 22. Those aren't very good odds. So let's see. Yeah. See, yeah, like I think anybody does with Super Mario World. Everybody knows Super Mario World up and down. Oh shit, Cycle Scrub with dragon emojis, and what the fuck are those? Like fucking penguin is like penguin little dragon fucking monkey chimera emojis or some shit like that. Mushu with fucking diamond emojis, other people with diamond emojis. Okay, Casper Juggalo Corp, you don't have that. Yeah, some kind of weird dragon monkey chimera fucking thing. Okay, so alright, I'll drop the knowledge on you guys. What you will be winning, the winner of the tournament for the Juggalo NES Grandmaster Tournament will be winning a Retron 5, a 32 gigabyte SD card that's going to have basically everything that I already have on this card. So a clone of this, the Retron 5, and the copies of every single fucking video game that I have in the tournament. All those ones that you saw flipped up, that's what you're winning. And this is going to be possibly a value of about $300. This is like a $300 value. And on top of that, they'll also get the 2 NES controllers, the 2 Super NES controllers. Hell, I might as well just go ahead and try to see about throwing in Sega Genesis controllers, the 6-button Genesis controllers. And this is going to be about a $300 to $400 value. The Retron itself is $160. And the Retron plays 10 systems. It plays Sega Genesis, Super Nintendo, regular Nintendo. It'll play Famicom games. It'll play Super Famicom games. It's got a front loader for Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games. If you get like the Sega Genesis converter adapter, you will also be able to play Sega Master System and MyCard games, as well as Sega Game Gear games. And on top of that, it's region free. You can play hacks on it. It saves onto the memory card. All that shit. For $160, that's a fucking steal. I'd rather have this than that $25 Walmart Family Dollar fucking Toys R Us Sega Genesis with 80 games already put into the thing. I don't want that. I want this motherfucker. Because especially since since I already have a collection that's being added onto it. I would much rather have that. And then, so like I said, you get a Retron 5. You get 2 Nintendo controllers. You get 2 Super Nintendo controllers. You get 2 Sega Genesis controllers. And you get every single game that you had to play in order to fucking become the Juggalo Nintendo Entertainment System Grandmaster. And that's the only thing that I can give you. I mean, I can't necessarily give you a plaque, a fucking charm, and a jersey. I wish I could, but I'm broke. And on top of that, like, as much as I wanted to do this type of shit, like, I just started getting into collecting again. And it was like last minute shit and all this other stuff. I did not hear about that Hunter Valentine. You heard it right here and now, y'all. Hunter Valentine is going to be running for mayor of Needles, California. That's fucking dope. Yeah. We got Hunter Valentine running for mayor in Needles, California, and we got Kane fucking running for mayor somewhere. So vote, and if you live in that area where Kane is fucking running for mayor, vote for him or he will set you on fire. Hunter Valentine might do worse. I don't know. Vote for him. If you live in Needles, vote for Hunter Valentine. I don't care what your beliefs are and what your political view is. Vote for a Juggalo. We need Juggalo political aspects, man. So, that's my thing. Now, what I wanted to get at when it concerned DCG Con for next year. If the NES tournament goes well this year, I'm going to step it up a notch. And I'm going to continue to keep it old school because I'm an old school cat and I grew up with these systems. But what I will be doing next year, Famicom games. I'm going to be doing Famicom games. And the reason why that is because Famicom is still 8-bit is still an 8-bit system, but it's got games that no one has ever played. And that's the reason why. My thought on fucking autocorrect. There we go. Fucking shit. Anyways, my thought on it when it concerns the gaming industry and gamers and collectors is that if you are a true fucking collector and you are a true gamer, you're going to play games no matter where they came from. You know? And that's my personal view when it concerns that shit. I would much rather see... I want to see what it's going to be like with people that are going to be, you know, that call themselves gamers. I know, right? But I want to see what people who consider themselves gamers are going to think when they have to play shit from overseas that they've never played before. You know, there might actually be one or two people that may have an edge over the top, but we're going to see how well of an edge they have. Whoa, motherfucking shit. Flying everywhere. No, I don't smoke weed. A lot of, like, I've actually explained this to my girlfriend's cousin. I'm not a pothead. I just wear the uniform. You suck at old school Nintendo games? Come on. What up, Echo Side Fiend? Yeah, exactly. Hunter Valentine smokes for me. So, yeah. And then, you know, I might, you know, like, I don't know. I'm probably going to take... Yeah, I know I wear the uniform, man. Like, dude, seriously, like, it's kind of like, let's see, I don't know why, but for some reason I think of the Weed Man. Like, how, you know, like, when... Do you guys remember when the Weed Man was feuding with Officer Colt Cabana? And they had that hair versus, that mask versus badge match that... fucking Weed Man lost, but he kept the mask on because he was forced to be Colt Cabana's deputy, and then Colt Cabana started feuding with Too Tough Tony for public intoxication. So like every match that he was in, he kept on getting arrested by Colt Cabana, and then it ended up being Colt Cabana in a tag match with his other deputy versus fucking Too Tough Tony and whoever else. But it ended up being the Weed Man because the Weed Man stopped being the deputy and he fucking demasked and boofed Officer Colt Cabana. So fucking you hear KG in the commentary and shit and he's just like, yeah, the Weed Man is not kayfabing at all. Like, underneath the mask, he seriously looks like a surfer stoner. And I was just like, hell yeah, dude, he wears the fucking uniform for real. Like, it's not just a gimmick. He is really a fucking pothead. Obviously, like, if anybody's ever fucking been at ring, you know, been in the front row at a JCW show and got to hit the joint with Weed Man, you know that's not kayfabe at all. Like, the Weed Man comes out and, like, I swear to God, they don't even use a smoke screen. They just have the Weed Man fucking hit 2 blunts at one time. And he comes out to fucking smoking pot and shit. Which is fine, you know. I thought it was awesome. It's an excellent gimmick. And yeah. What up, Echo Side Fiend? I see you in there. Fucking straggling around. So, tell me, y'all, what do y'all think about my fresh prize? Like, that's my fresh prize. A Retron control, you know, like 2 controllers for each fucking system, all of the Nintendo games. Next year, if if they ask me to come back, I'm gonna be doing fucking, we'll be playing fucking Famicom games. What do you think about that? Thank you, Big Ninja. The Squirrel approves. Conquer the Squirrel fucking approves of that shit. You know what? Let's give King Conquer a fucking shout out, y'all. Everybody throw out fucking squirrel emojis if you can. I'm just saying that because I really want to see fucking squirrel emojis. Well, Goat Boy, even if you're not able to make it this year, fucking, save up and you'll be able to do it. You'll be able to do it up next year. Keyboard Builder says Crimson going on America's Got Talent. Crimson will be the face of the Juggalos. Crimson does not know the way at all. Like, he does not know the way at all. Like, seriously, where's the Ugandan Knuckles when you need him to tell everybody that he does not know the way? And we've seen pictures. If you go to crimsonx.com, like, you can actually see pictures of him in drag. He is the queen. He may have Ebola, but he does not know the way. Exactly. And I really didn't want to have to talk about him because he's fucking yesterday's news. Like, that, no. Fucking no more. Like, nobody gives a shit about him. Like, he's basically turning Boy Blue status. He's gotten a blow up, but now his shit's dying down. But anyways, let's see. Brooklyn Menace ended up asking if we're going to be staying at the hotel in the convention center. As a matter of fact, yes. Thanks to Echo Side Fiend, we will be staying at the fucking convention center. So, you know, that honestly, it was about that close to not happening, in all honesty. Apparently, I guess somebody ended up canceling, and we just, he and I ended up fucking scouring that shit. Yes, we're going to be going to Denver, Colorado, Hunter Valentine. We're going to be going there for DCG Con in May. And anyway, so, like, Echo Side Fiend and I were, like, trying to look for a hotel and shit. And, yes, Katie is going to be coming with Sister Hatchet. Now, if we could just convince Jinx to fucking come, then Katie's going to be happy as a pig in shit. Hell yeah, dude. Make it up. Like, make it a life goal, Hunter. Because, me, I'm going to be doing my shit. Fucking, Carnival Spirits is doing their shit. Keegan the Creep Ass is going to be doing shit. And then on top of that, Child's Play Ninja is going to be doing, like a D&D 3.5, The Mystic 6. And, I'm not a big D&D guy, which is weird because I like role-playing games. I like role-playing games on video games. That's my shit to me because it's not too out of bounds. Like they have boundaries, but it's not too out of bounds. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would rather have it like that, where there has to be, like, some sort of fucking boundary. I don't want to have to roll a die to see whether or not I can teleport my fucking knight into the fucking dragon's mouth so that way I can shoot my sword upward into the roof of its mouth, piercing its brain, and then teleporting out just as the dragon's falling so I don't die. I've actually had a legitimate conversation with somebody about that type of shit. Like, they actually did that in D&D. Don't ask me how, because I don't know the shit about that. Now, Goat Boy, I've heard that 2.0 was where a lot of role players tended to stop. You know, and they just, like, there are some D&D players that still continue to play 2.0. I don't play Magic. I don't play Yu-Gi-Oh. I'm not like, the only card game that I actually play really has been Echo Side and maybe Texas Hold'em, but I don't do it for money or anything like that. I did once and I got lucky. Won $50. See, CPN, he's the card guy. I'm the gamer guy. Okay, this keeps falling. Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm the fucking retro gaming juggalo. Like, that's what my, you know, that's kind of been my most recent shtick as of this point. Because when I get into something, I really get into it. But, you know, like, back in the day, I used to play, there was this card game for X-Men that I used to play with my cousins. And, you know, that was actually cool. I can't remember the name of the game, otherwise I'd probably try to look for it. But it was fucking dope. I ended up playing that. Like that kind of game, like that was entertaining for me. But, you know, like, this damn game was like, you know, it like, I haven't played it in like 20 years. Wait, what? Nice. CPN says Kreyz is a fake gamer. He was wondering why his Sonic cartridge won't fit in his Super NES. It might have something to do with, I'm no expert, but I honestly think it has something to do with the fact that the little cart inside of this cartridge has less pins than what the Super Nintendo provided, or more pins. That's why it won't fit. But, you know, I'm no expert. You know, and like I said, you know, I you know, once again, I'm no expert when it concerns cartridges, but I think that the reason why that there's two different versions of Super Mario Brothers in my fucking collection, one has 3 screws in the back and 2 clips on the top, and the other one has 5 in the, you know, 5 screws, is because the one with 5 screws actually is actually a Famicom game, into, you know, piggybacking a fucking another cart that has 72 pins on the bottom. But I'm no expert. They claim he cheated because he used MAME. Homeboy Ugly says that he's like Sega more than Nintendo. Well, yeah, dude, I had Game Station. What? I can't afford it. Like, I had Game Station and Gamecast. Like, that's how broke I am. I'm at that level where I have Gamecast and Game Station. Fuck, I had Gamecast and Bleem. Like, I had Bleem installed into my Gamecast. You know, actually, since I started collecting, I actually learned a lot of shit. Like, as an example, there is I don't know if you guys knew this, but there's also 2 different versions of Super Mario 3. The only major difference really is is just the dialogue translations. Okay, Brooklyn Menace, what do you got? Brooklyn Menace is telling me that he may have an additional prize to add to my competition. Now, this is actually something that I'm interested in. You have a Famicom with 400 built-in games. Interesting. I'd like to see this thing. Send me a message on Facebook Messenger so I can see this, because I'm actually interested in this. Like, does it look... Oh, it's a cloned Famicom? Oh, yeah, it's the It's the Chinese bootleg. I don't want that. Granted, I like my Retron and everything, but I do want to try to eventually get everything as authentic as possible. Like, I want to get an actual Famicom, and I want to get, let's see, you're 2 steps and a stone's throw away from Thornsville. You're crazy. You better be at the gathering. As I said before, Evil Tracy, you weren't in here when I talked about that, but I don't think it's financially feasible, and even if it was, I'm not going to be able to get the time off of work for it. Like, DCG Con is already set in stone. I'm going come hell or high water. Fuck yeah, I'll take it off your hands if I'd like to give it a shot and check it out. Now, is it all fucking Japanese translated to English, or is it all Japanese? Evil Tracy, you hear it? You heard it now on the Crazy House podcast, everybody. Evil Tracy is going to be at the fucking gathering of the Juggalos this year. I don't know. To be truthfully honest, I don't know if she's been ranting and raving about that before. You don't like the controllers? Jap version is usually preferred since text loads faster. Yeah, but, like, I don't care about the length of time that it takes for text to load. You know what I really want to do, though, is, I want to go balls out, and try to get, not only do I want to try to get the Famicoms, but I also want to get, I also want to try to get the Famicom disk system. Like, I don't know if you guys know about that, but, back in the day, in Japan, they were trying to figure out how to make it a lot more cost effective, because the way that the NES system works, I'm just going to use this as reference, even though it's my Retron. Inside the system, there was a chip in the system called 10NES. And the same chip was also embedded into the carts for Nintendo and Famicom. So, what it does is when you turn on the system, the chip, the system is searching for the chip in the fucking system and then searching for that exact same chip in the cart. If the cart didn't have the chip, then the game wouldn't be able to play. But, what they were trying to do is try to figure out a way to make it so the fucking, they'd be able to try to figure out a way on how to make things a little bit more cost effective for the Famicom, because the prices for the chips was huge. Warlockside, what up, homie? Warlockside is in the fucking house. So what happened is they decided that they were going to go with floppy disks, and they ended up trying to make, they decided that what they were going to do is make it so the floppy disk was where it's going to be from there on out. So you could buy the floppy disk for $15, or you could buy a blank floppy disk for $3, and then you could go to a kiosk and buy another game for $12, making it so it's $15. Or it's the other way around, I can't remember. But nevertheless, that ended up being the thing. So, like, a lot of the games that we love and know about, like Metroid and The Legend of Zelda and shit like that, like, those games ended up actually being on disc for the Famicom. And the cool thing about that is the fact that the music was crisp and clear in comparison to the Nintendo carts. You could actually hear it. Like, if you go to the Gaming Historian talking about the Famicom disk system, you can actually hear the difference between the audio on disc and the audio on carts. And it is astounding in comparison on disc. But it wasn't until somebody came out with a port for Ghosts and Goblins for the regular Nintendo that exceeded the amount of space that was needed on the floppy disk, because the floppy disk could only hold 128 kilobytes, and apparently Ghosts and Goblins ended up holding more than that, And so they found a way on how to make it so you could store more space on the carts. And on top of that, the chips for the 10 NES chips ended up being cheaper after 2 years in bulk. So they just dropped the fucking Famicom disk system altogether. Even though they had actually planned on porting the Famicom disk system to make it compatible in America. Like, if you look at the bottom of an NES cart, there's like a little thing at the bottom that you can pull out. And I think that's where the disk system, the Nintendo disk system, was supposed to go in there. So, I know I'm boring you guys with that nugget of information, but I just thought it was interesting to fucking share. Only thing you've ever played on Nintendo is 007. Let me guess, were you the type of person to play as Oddjob and crouch when you were playing multiplayer? Because if that's the case, then fuck you. Everybody would try to do that. The first person who played as Oddjob would do that and make it a lot more difficult for them to get shot at. Like, that type of shit just fucking sucked. But, yeah. Alright, let me see if I can get this to fucking balance again. There we go. Nope. Nope. No. Okay, there we go. Alright. I'm just mad because I can't afford Oddjob's hat. Dude, I know, dude, but, you know, to be totally honest, though, despite the fact that I can't afford it, I respect that hat. I really do. Alright, looks like people are starting to drop off. I'm getting a little monotonous here. So I might as well do the same thing. So, yeah. I'm gonna get out of here too. I'm gonna end this with a little bit of a shill before I go. So, Patreon is available. I got links in the description for Patreon, my web store for all my t-shirts, and well, I mean, I'm getting out of here. So Super Chat is kind of pointless at this point. So, but maybe next time I do a live stream, you know, Super Chat's still available then. Until next time, I'm out this motherfucking bitch. I'm KreyzMcKormik. This has been the Crazy House. Deuces, y'all.